Ending our Monday show here with a hot topic. We're going to flip it a little bit. Hot or not, United States men's national team player transfer rumors. They were circling around. I don't know if, international window gives people a little bit more time to get creative on the keyboard, but
Oh yeah.
there was some international rumors brought up. Which one would you like to start on first?
Well, let me just say that I think it's really hard if you are paying any attention at all. If you are thinking beyond just a basic fan responding to news kind of level, not to be absolutely cynical about so much of what's out there when it comes to transfer rumors, Rob. This is a business unto itself, right? And transfer rumors very rarely can be taken at face value. And I say very rarely because there are some that occasionally, oh, look, that guy signed for that team after 3 months ago or 4 months ago or 6 months ago. We heard there was interest. Yeah, that happens. Clearly, that happens. A spark turns into a fire at some point in some places. But lots of times these things are posturing, right? They're meant to create a market. They are efforts to get a conversation happening that may not have happened before. They are trying to create something out of whole cloth in order to wish it into existence. And so it's really hard sometimes to look at this stuff and go, yeah, okay. That's yeah, let's ponder what that team could do with that player, cuz most of the time it's bullshit, you know?
I feel like I was prepared for the age of fake news in the era we lived in because I followed, soccer news, and I knew about, with
Yeah.
football transfer
Yeah.
rumors, I knew what fake
Yeah.
news looked like about 10, 15 years ahead of
Uh-huh.
that coming into the zeitgeist of you
Right.
see something written and you're like, that's just not reality. So
Look, let me just say this too. No, never mind. I'll save it because I do want to be pointed about some of this conversation. I was going to try to be nice, but I think I'm going to have to get the knives out just a little bit. So you set us up. You said which one do I want to talk about?
hot or
I don't
not?
think it matters. Go ahead, throw one at me, and we'll respond here in a moment.
I saw online this weekend Ricardo Pepi being linked to Bayern, Atleti, and Dortmund.
All right, this is beyond the Liverpool interest that apparently Ricardo Pepi also has, which is I don't know. And okay, so this is where we will come, right? This is what we'll start with. First of all, is Ricardo Pepi a talented player?
Yeah.
Yes, he is a talented player. He is also not starting now at the best team in the Netherlands. That's the best team in the Netherlands,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not starting at PSV Eindhoven. And if we were being kind to the Dutch league, we could maybe put it sixth in all of Europe in terms of league quality, right? If we're being kind, there would be a debate. People, I don't know if they're sixth. Maybe Portugal, maybe Belgium. Belgium's a stronger league than you think it is. We could do all. I don't want to have that debate. Let's just, for the purpose of this argument, say, oh, there's reason to think of the Dutch league as the sixth best league in Europe. He's not starting at the sixth for the top team, but in the sixth best league in Europe. And suddenly he has interest from read those teams again. And again, I'll throw in Liverpool because you didn't mention them. Go ahead.
Bayern Munich, which is a good team, I've heard. Atleti.
Yeah.
Atleti.
Bayern Munich is one of the best goal scorers of the last couple decades. Correct? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Pepe going to displace Kane? Question mark.
Okay. Yeah, Ricardo Pepi. Okay.
And
Harry
Atleti.
Kane. Those things are like each
Atletico
other.
Madrid.
Atletico Madrid. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, okay, but they went out and spent a bunch of money, if I'm not mistaken, on their own center forward this past summer. Go ahead, continue.
And Borussia Dortmund.
Borussia Dortmund. Okay, maybe there's a little bit more possibility there, only because Dortmund is a developmental club in a lot of ways. They want to win titles in Germany. They want to be in the Champions League. They made a final, but of course, there's also there's other things there. I don't want to just go bullshit, and then be done with it. Like that feels like we're not even giving it proper. We're not giving Ricardo Pepi his due, because I do think a move is possible in the near future. And just because he's stuck behind somebody who is locked in and the captain of his club at PSV Eindhoven in Luke de Jong doesn't mean Ricardo Pepi couldn't blossom somewhere else. But some of this also comes from a tweet from Fabrizio Romano. Okay, Fabrizio Romano. According to Fabrizio Romano, Ricardo Pepi is one to watch in this transfer window, right? Like in this next window, right? And Romano is out there saying Ricardo Pepi has interest, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
Fabrizio Romano, he's even less trustworthy than sort of a random rumor you come across via Transfer Market or via whatever website, whatever transfer rumor website, whatever Spanish newspaper is churning these things out, trying to capture clicks. Fabrizio Romano is not, generally speaking, a trustworthy source. Now, it doesn't mean he
He
doesn't have
once
good
was.
information. I'm not saying. Okay, here's the thing. There is an amount of information. There's some of the things that Fabrizio Romano puts into the world that are fairly accurate and true, and maybe have some actual real world information behind them. But the man has become a business unto himself. Remember when he was tweeting out F1 transfers, different drivers. This driver was going to go to this new team. That to me was the moment when it was like, all right, this isn't just a dude who's got sources. This is now somebody who is being paid to drop information, even real information, right? Even real information like the F1 stuff. Ricardo Pepi is being paid, compensated in some form or fashion to do that because he helps publicize these things. And I saw it stated flat out, and I don't know this to be a fact, so I gotta get in my own head about this, whether I want to say it out loud. But did somebody pay Fabrizio Romano to tweet about Ricardo Pepi?
It's hard. It's hard to argue against it when the timing of everything comes out. And then his agent, I mean, he had that move to Germany that didn't go so well, and then he's found a place in Holland, but he's not getting a lot of playing time. So it seems like the manufacturing industry is working hard here on his behalf. And while we're going through this, I want folks to throw into the chat transfers you would like to see while we're doing this.
We're just going to conjure transfers now? That's what we're doing? We're just going to, okay, I'd like to see.
Hey, we're talking about people conjuring transfers, so I figure the listeners and the viewers, what do they want to see?
Yeah, if you want to live in a fantasy world and conjure transfers, you're more than welcome to do that. I mean, certainly we could ponder which of, and look, most people are going to be talking about U.S. men's national team players here. Let's just be honest that this is we're Americans. This is an American show. We are coming. Okay, my man Mike Thomas is being a little out there. Kylian Mbappe to the Philadelphia Union. Okay, or does he mean Union Omaha? Which one do you? No, I'm just kidding, Mike. I know he's a Union fan.
One's likely to win another championship before the other.
Ouch! That's kind of cold. Look, we're mostly talking about the U.S. men's national team and sort of who needs a move from that. Okay, here's one. Actually, Mo Salah to NYCFC. We pondered Red Bull, NYCFC, but I don't think he's going to want to play in a baseball stadium. But I don't know.
Or for
great players did before. How about Tanner Tessman? Can we get Tanner Tessman out of Lyon? And I know he's not like the U.S. men's national team player people care as much about, right? But Tanner Tessman is playing at a club that could be relegated to Ligue 2 because they owe 500 million euros. They have 500 million euros worth of debt. John Textor's Eagles soccer group or sports group or whatever it's called, football group, probably. Let's get him out of there. I'm thinking Tanner Tessman. I mean, he obviously started out in Italy after making the move from FC Dallas. Wow. Man, where could we get Tanner Tessman? Where can we put him? Bundesliga, mid-table Bundesliga somewhere would be nice. Maybe. I don't know how much he would cost, but there it is. I mean, look, Pepe's the number one because he's stuck behind a center forward that's not going to get him a lot of playing time in Holland. Jedi Robinson, I'm okay with where he's at. He's already one of the best left backs in the world. I don't need him to move, but I do think people imagine he's capable of playing at a place like Liverpool. So there is that. Who else? Yunus Musa is not getting a ton of playing time at AC Milan, but I think he's developing. I don't know if I want to take him out of there. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say another player that was rumored over the weekend was Johnny Cardoso to Spurs and Villa.
That's going to happen. One of those moves. Okay, I don't think this is a Romano report. This is that has option on Johnny Cardoso that they can take. I think it's in the winter. I don't know what's going on with other cameras, but I think it's in the winter. I don't, and then if they don't take it, somebody else can come in and grab Johnny Cardoso. He does seem to have a Premier League future in front of him. I think there's actual fire to that smoke. I don't know. I don't know if I want yet. I'm not sure I'm quite there to wanting it to happen. But he's he's growing. He's a talented player. He's been identified. Let's see. I don't. But at the same time, I don't wish for players to have to be stuck in a lesser situation if there are teams coming for them, because it's hard to say no. Like, we wondered if Weston McKennie was going to hack it in Italy when he left Schalke for Juve. What the heck's going on here? He's going to Juve? And while he's had some bumps because of managerial changes and the like, he has thrived, frankly put, at Juve. And we were not wrong, but we were, as Americans, we were hesitant about it, and it's turned out to work out. So maybe John Cardoso is on the same kind of path.
And then kind of wrap this up. Christian Pulisic, always the subject of transfer speculation, it seems. 3 teams listed, apparently interested in the American talisman. Liverpool, Manchester United, and West Ham all linked.
Okay, so let's take these individually. Liverpool, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't hate it.
I personally want, it would be cool in the back of my mind, maybe not immediately, but kind of follow the Mo Salah timeline. It's like, it's rise in Europe, have Chelsea, a time at Chelsea, go to Italy, and then.
Yes, I agree. I think Christian Pulisic could be fine. I mean, he being at Chelsea didn't work out for a lot of reasons. I think that's as much about Chelsea and the club it is as much as it is about England, right? Or the style of play in the Premier League or anything like that. Obviously, Chelsea's also in London. I think Liverpool, a little bit more removed from London, could be good for Pulisic. Obviously, there's lots of pressure. It's tons of pressure, but you're playing in front of one of the best crowds in European football. You're playing for a manager who clearly has the vibes going really, really well right now at Liverpool. It would be a lot of pressure if he was asked to, like, replace Mo Salah, right? Just like he was sort of asked to replace Eden Hazard at Chelsea. That's a lot. That puts a lot of pressure on him. He didn't have that burden at Milan. He was sort of allowed to grow into himself because that was Leao's team, and now there is that. So I think that's possible. You said Manchester United and West Ham were the other two?
Yes, sir.
No and no, thank you. No, thank you, and not at all. Nope. United, no, for the reasons that we have already talked about and everybody has talked about in football. And then obviously West Ham, because what is West Ham right now? They're slumming it for Christian Pulisic. And no offense to Hammers fans, because I know they love their club, but that is slumming it for Christian Pulisic. That would be a massive step back. Don't do that at all.
Yeah, Champions League in Italy you got to believe is far superior to, middle to lower league with, there's going to probably be a managerial change at some point soon. Instability in the locker room, instability with coaching. That's not what's going to add to Pulisic thriving.
Well, look, there's still a chance that Fonseca doesn't last much longer at Milan, and there will be some turmoil there. And Milan is kind of a chaotic club. They're a chaos club in a lot of ways, especially now because they are chasing Inter and they're chasing Juve and the money that those clubs can bring to the table that Milan just frankly doesn't have. But everybody still expects Milan to be a competitor for Scudettos and for the Champions League because of the history of that club, right? And I think. Pulisic is thriving in that environment, sort of being asked to help carry a historically important club. He's doing a good job of that. But we've heard him talk about the vibes. We've heard him talk about Italy. We've heard him talk about the lifestyle. And it would be a fundamental change of lifestyle to go from Milan to Merseyside. So I wonder if Christian will want it from a personality and personal perspective, or if he will feel caught up in a wave. Because Milan got a budget rate on him. They got a deal on Christian Pulisic relative to what he's delivered them. And that because his price was depressed by the bad time at Chelsea. It's going to go back up. And I don't know what the number is. Do you have a number, Rob?
They were talking about 60, yeah.
60. 60 is not nothing. 60 is pretty significant money. And Liverpool has spent a little bit of money recently, but that would be a big outlay for Liverpool, which is much more conscious of their budget and smart with their money than, say, their rivals over in Manchester, who may be like, what, 100 million? Let's go buy him, no matter what he's done.
Now, throw 100 million at someone you don't even know if they're going to fit in your team.
Right, exactly, that kind of thing. I mean, again, so let's bring in some comments, because I do think that this is good for our listeners. Mike Thomas, Liverpool will be most interesting of those three. That's a guarantee. We well said that. This is from KY. Puli's salary at Milan is low. Could see him leaving for a better payday. Absolutely. The Italian team.
That's the only way West Ham would work there.
Also might feel like unfinished business and wanting to prove himself in the Prem. Yes, that's possible. I wonder how much of a driver that really is for Christian Pulisic personality-wise. Again, this is what I'm saying. Being big man on campus in Milan has to feel good. Again, I think that I think it's a very, as much as there is pressure at Milan, I think it's a very different atmosphere than being in England. And KY again, do we think of Pulisic of having success in Italy because he's better now, or the level is lower than England? I think it's dos. It's both those things. Like, I think it is that Italian football, generally speaking, especially down the table, is not as good as the Premier League. And so week to week, but of course he was hurt a bunch. That he never got ahead of steam at Chelsea for a long period of time, for a couple stretches, but not a long period of time. But I do also think he's better now. I think he's come out of it personality-wise, like emotionally, psychologically, come out of England and found a happiness level. And that, I think that matters. He's not making it into the Liverpool. I don't think that's true. Now, why I say that I don't think that's true is because there's clearly, I'm not going to say it's rotation, but there's, and there is a hierarchy at Liverpool in the attack, Rob. You would know this better than me. But it definitely feels like Arne Slot's willing to use all of the pieces available to him, especially since they are competing on multiple fronts. And I don't know that Pulisic would be in the 11 every single time for Liverpool, but he would get, 20 starts in a Liverpool season, I think, pretty easily.
In my opinion, the only thing that has ever really held Pulisic back is health. When he's fit and in form, sky's the limit, to be honest. When he was at Chelsea, it was mostly whenever he was held out of the team was when he was trying to regain form after, reoccurring injuries. And I do think that, as we kind of marinated on it here through discussion, if Salah does end up, signing it somewhere else in January and does, and probably would leave at the end of the season, I do think that there is a spot in that attack rotation. They have 5-6 attacking players, and that could open the door for a Pulisic.
So let's consider this, all right? Because this is the list from KY. Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, Mo Salah, Chiesa. By the way, I've seen it already pondered that Chiesa could go back to Italy, that it just hasn't worked out. He came in injured. He hasn't gotten ahead of steam. I don't know that he's completely happy with his playing time at Liverpool right now. So Chiesa might not be on the board. Again, Salah could leave. His contract status is up in the air at this point. I know Liverpool wants to keep him. They're not ready to say goodbye to Mo Salah quite yet. I do think all of this is summer. We're not talking about January. None of this is going to happen. I can't imagine that's going to any of it's going to happen in January. Look, you know what Diaz is going to stay. Gakpo is going to stay. Gakpo is versatile, can play in a couple of different spots. Pulisic is only going to be a wing player. So who does he need to beat out on a regular basis? Because Darwin Nunez is not the concern. Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo are the concern, especially since Gakpo has become more of a wide option for Liverpool than he might have originally been targeted as.
So that would be a tough move. Obviously, if you're moving to one of the top teams in England, you're going to have to beat out some excellent players to get there. With that said, just off the wall, do you think that there's a spot for him at a Spurs?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think he would walk into the Spurs team. I mean, I think they have talent too, but man, Spurs.
Would you want him there?
Here's the thing. I don't wish Christian Pulisic gets Spurs. We had that one little moment where Dempsey was there before he came back to Major League Soccer and joined Seattle. I don't remember how many games he played for Tottenham.
It was a half season or a year and a half. I can't remember.
I don't remember. It was like a year. It was like a season, but he had trouble getting into the team. And there was, it was clearly at the point where he was on the backside of his career in England. And so it didn't work. We're talking about Christian Pulisic at his peak, in his prime. I think he would play a lot for Tottenham. However, I would not wish having to follow Tottenham on American soccer fans. I don't wish that on them. I love Ange Postecoglou as a personality, as a guy, as a what do they call them down there in Australia? Are they blokes?
Yeah,
mites?
they're blokes.
The mites. I love that guy. I don't want to root for his team because I don't want to be doing this all the time. I don't want to be having heart attacks every week.
We're the best. We're the best or we're the worst. No in betweens.
No in between. No in between when you're a Spurs, when you're riding that roller coaster at Tottenham Hotspur.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Morning Kick Around. Tell your friends, tell your family, acquaintances, enemies, all of the above. We are Morning Kick Around on YouTube, and we're ticking along on our goal to 500 on our path to 50K. Follow us along on X and Instagram, or write us a note on morningkickaround@gmail.com. United States playing Jamaica. Will they take care of business, Jason?
Will they take care of business? Yes, they will. My prediction is 3-0 to the United States. I'm being extra positive today. Rob, what do you got?
I believe a more professional 1-0 win. They skate through, and Postacoglu, or not Postacoglu, Pochettino gets carried off the field in St. Louis.
Okay. 1-0, and he gets carried off the field in St. Louis. Wow. That's
And
intense.
everyone will be wiping away the tears of the day that we made it to the Nations League semifinal.
All right, there it is.
All right. See you folks on Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Morning Kicker.
Unless we lost Jenny.